everybody, it's Mike Young. Welcome to chapter 65 on minimalism here in the Live to 150 book. Yes, I'm a lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org, and I'm actually talking about minimalism now. And I know when I talk about food, I talk about eating a wide variety of plants, so you get all the different nutrients that you need, your body needs. And I just right before this chapter was the chapter on personal finance. But I want to follow it up with a chapter on minimalism as a solution or a fix or the answer to maybe what you feel like being backed into a corner. Okay, because a lot of the problems, so many of the problems that we're talking about in this book are brought on by the quote, American dream, unquote. Okay, like I said, if you don't know, I own a landscape business that works on residential detached houses. For the most part, I'm a real estate agent, I'm a realtor, and I'm sitting here basically telling you the American dream causes more problems than it, at least at this point in time. This ridiculous dream causes more problems than anything. And minimalism is almost like the anti-American dream. It's almost like the antidote. Because the American dream, it seems like whoever's programming you in your mind, the houses keep getting bigger and bigger, the cars keep getting more and more expensive. Everything, the lavish vacations, you name it, all these things that people have to have apparently, okay? And most of them are causing problems. So in this chapter, we're not talking about the problems caused by food, even though they're extensive. It's like 80% of all illnesses are probably caused by food. We're talking about the problems caused by personal finance and minimalism as a solution to that. This is very general. So what's minimalism? Was basically getting rid of all the things that aren't absolutely necessary. Then that requires, this is my definition anyway, it requires you as an individual determining what's a want versus what's a need. And that's a tough one. I say that most people out there, when I start to have these discussions with them, they keep putting so many things into the need category that are absolutely wants. It's just that they've been conditioned to think that they're needs. And minimalism really, in its purest sense, is just going and only keeping those things that you barely need to survive. Now, you could take this a number of different ways. You could say, well, that means that I'm going to own almost nothing. And maybe I won't own anything. Maybe I'll just rent. But if I own something, it's going to be a tiny house and like the smallest house you've ever seen and almost nothing inside, just the bare necessities to get by. And that's one way to do it. But I'm not necessarily saying that that's minimalism. I mean, you could own 10 or 100 different properties and you could rent them all out to people, actually. That'd be a great source of income. A lot of times people who buy properties are companies like BlackRock and other real estate companies that just specialize in buying these things. And they are bought by pension funds because they want like an annuity of money coming in. So minimalism, I'd say, can be described as almost, well, you could own all tiny homes and rent them out, but you could just own regular houses, rent them out to tenants for money coming in. And to maybe open door, be buying some of this real estate too, but rent them all out to tenants, and then you live in like the least nice house there is. That's kind of been my MO for quite a while now. That's what I do. That's why I'm involved in real estate, because you can do that. It's a good strategy because you got some good cash flows coming in. As long as you're willing to let your tenants live better than you, then you're going to be in great financial shape, okay? Because as we know from what's happened here with inflation recently, the highest in 40 years in 2022, owning real estate has been a great hedge against inflation. I'm telling you. And some people even said it's better than owning cryptocurrency at the peak of cryptocurrency, which was like last year. It's only gone down since then. So it's a good thing. But for the average viewer out here who's not necessarily going to get into real estate and own rental properties, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, just reduce your own personal lifestyle down low. A lot of times when people talk about personal finance and they talk about, okay, what's your net worth? We got to determine your net worth. Like, we sell everything off that you own, and whatever pile of cash is left, that's how much you're worth. Well, a lot of times they'll say, do not include your principal residence. And this is why I come back to minimalism. This concept is very important. When you may wonder, why not? I live there. I mean, if I didn't own it, I'd have to pay somebody else for it. So, but it doesn't work that way. If this assets you own isn't actually making you money while you sleep, really, is the test, then it should not be counted in your net worth. Okay. Or definitely not as an income producing asset. It's a different category. So if you're going to be a minimalist and you're going to live in a very small area and you're going to pay the least amount of money you can to live in that area, then that is going to really help out your net worth, because it's going to mean that you can push off a lot of the other power or energy or money that you have into actual income producing assets, which will take a lot of stress off of you and it'll help to increase your longevity. So many benefits from minimalism. That's why I'm bringing this up as a separate chapter, even though I said I wasn't going to get into personal finance much, because I think if you're willing to embrace this, if you're open to it, it could have, amazing positive consequences for you going forward. And the only thing you're going to be missing is all the stuff. Okay. And all the stuff, if you put the totality of the research together, it's not stuff that makes people happy. It's more of experiences, but it's definitely not stuff. So I'm not saying you need to take lavish vacations, but I'm saying that the stuff doesn't do it. So if you're going to have the stuff, at least put it to work for you. You can do it in a good way, and just don't get the extra or bigger house than you need, or any more things than you need on a daily basis, because just keeping track of all your stuff can become a burden, even if you're living in a small place. And actually, I say that's another benefit of living in a small place. You cannot accumulate as much stuff. Don't go get a storage unit. Don't go get a storage unit. Because if you get a storage unit, you're just going to be, it's like getting a bigger purse. You're going to keep throwing more and more and more things in there. And we don't want to do that. It creates stress. It doesn't allow you to focus on longevity and health and keeping yourself well. It puts the focus onto material things, actually, is what it does. And that's why it's so wrong. That's why your body doesn't react well to that. So let me know any insights that you got from watching or listening to this chapter. Let me know your situation, if you ever embraced minimalism, if you maybe will embrace minimalism now based on some of the things I said here in this chapter. Just give me some feedback and let me know if you know others that have done this, like other people that have, you probably thought they were weirdos possibly before reading this, but how are they doing in life? And I'd be curious, because I think this minimalism movement is more of a newer thing in the last couple of decades. Like I said, it's been like since the 50s that we've had all these issues, these diseases of affluence. And this is more like a response to that in the last maybe 10 years, I'd say. So as time goes on, like 50, 100 years down the road, I'm wondering where things are going to go. And I hope that I have heard some people say now that the human race has only 200 years left because it's going to implode and self-destruct. I hope not. But I still have 98 more years to go. So I'm going to do my best to bring everybody on the right path, and the one where everybody has the most fun, as I talked about. That's the whole point of this, is not to be boring and eat cardboard or whatever your whole life. Going to have a good time, and you don't need the big house. That's what I'm saying. The other thing. And the other thing also too is, if you want to have some intentional exercise, get the small apartment or whatever that's real close to all the places that you would normally drive to, so you can walk to them instead. Something like that. That's purposeful exercise that you're never going to stop doing. And if you look at areas where people live the longest, they generally have access to a lifestyle like that. So it's very, very beneficial. Don't think that living out in the country and breathing in the fresh air is going to help you live longer, because it's actually not, because you're going to get in your car more often. That's what's going to end up happening. So thanks so much for watching. Give the video a like. Look forward to reading your comments, and we'll see you in the next chapter. Bye-bye.